What's up, everybody? Josh Clow here. Today I'm going to be discussing the hidden gem in the 2020 draft for the Miami Dolphins and for anybody else who's kind of looking for a quarterback in the later rounds, like round 4, 5, possibly 6. That hidden gem, for the example, like a Tom Brady, Gardner Minshew, Russell Wilson, Kirk Cousins, Dak Prescott, guys who was not drafted to be a star right off the bat or just to be where they are now. Guys that were drafted probably to be development or kind of to be the backup. We have our franchise guy. We just need a decent backup. And something had happened, for instance, a lot of it injuries, and they take off. So this year in the 2020 draft, who are the hidden gems? And there's two guys that I really looked into, watched some analysis videos on them, a little bit of highlights. And there's two guys that are pretty well good for the possibly a fourth or fifth round if the Dolphins decide, you know what, we're not going to draft quarterback at number 1. We may not draft quarterback at number 2. We're going to get impactful players right now to fill in the rest of the holes on this team. And the last piece we're going to build is quarterback while we have a complete team. And two guys really, really showed up and opened my eyes a little bit. And those guys are Bryce Perkins from the University of Virginia and Anthony Gordon from Washington State. Now, when I say these are hidden gems, these guys do have some problems. There's a reason why they're not first-round talent. There's probably a reason why they're not second-round talent. But if they can be developed, get some time, get the right coaching in, these guys could potentially be franchise quarterbacks or something in between. Worst or worst, a really good backup. Now, a lot of teams are looking for franchise quarterbacks. Also, these guys are perfect for, say, like the 2012 Redskins. You get in two quarterbacks in your draft. You got a first round in RG3. You got a fourth round into Kirk Cousins. One didn't pan out. You had another. That obviously both worked out pretty decently for the Redskins until you realize one got hurt and then the other one just couldn't sign a long-term contract. But these are the guys that definitely the Dolphins, but other teams as well, are probably going to be looking into and thinking, maybe this is the guy that is definitely going to be slept on. The first one I'm going to talk about is Bryce Perkins. He's from the University of Virginia. Played 2 years there, 2018 and then 2019. Some of the things on him that are good. He's a dual threat. He can pass, he can rush. He's not no Cam Newton, but he can do damage on the ground. 2018, he threw 64%, had 26, almost 2,700 yards, 25 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, had 900 rushing yards with 9 touchdown rushing. So you can see that he's a dual threat. He can do damage on the ground as well in the passing game. 2019, the year to just passed, about the same, 64% completion rating. So he's been about consistent around there. He upped his game a little at 3,500 yards, brought it up almost 900 yards. 22 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, a little more interceptions, a little less touchdowns, but around the same. 769 rushing yards and 11 touchdowns rushing. So again, dual threat. He can hurt you on both sides of the ball, running or passing. Like I said, he's not no Cam Newton, he's not no Lamar Jackson, but he's somebody that possibly can get the job done if needed to be. Another good thing for him is he makes dynamic plays. He's really fun to watch if you actually sit down and actually watch him. And that's pretty good for a guy, you're looking into in the late round. Dynamic, dual threat. This is a pretty good consideration. But some of the bad things about him. And the very first one I'm going to talk about, University of Virginia is not a football school. From a guy who's from Virginia, not a lot of people talk about Virginia in football. They're a basketball school. They're a baseball school. They're not a football school. Although they were ranked this year, and they did make it to the ACC championship game, where they just got demolished by Clemson. But he took them there. He's essentially what Daniel Jones did last year. He's not Daniel Jones. He's not a first round pick, but he took a team, a school that's not a football school, and kind of made them decent. And if you have talent to do that, you have potential somewhere. The other bad things about him are his accuracy needs work. He's very inconsistent sometimes, and his footwork could be a little bit better. A lot of those things could be worked on by really great coaching. So, can Brian Flores and company really work on this? It's a possibility. Unfortunately, Ryan Fitzpatrick is not a guy to teach him to be a dual threat. He can teach him to gunsling and try to be a passer, but dual threat's going to be on his own. So there is a problem there. But ultimately, if he's available and you're in the 4th or 5th round, Dolphins should sit there and decide, should we pick him or the other guy? And the other guy I'm going to be talking about is Anthony Gordon from Washington State. And this one's a risk hidden gem. He only played 1 year. He played his senior year in Washington State. Gardner Minshew had gotten drafted. He took over. His stats are actually impressive. 71.6% completion rate. 5,500 yards passing. Led college football in that. 48 passing touchdowns. But 16 interceptions. Those are actually really great stats until you dig a little bit deeper. He was in a Mike Leach offense, which is an air raid offense. He had over 150 more attempts than Joe Burrow, which was the next guy in passing statistics. But he's really fun to watch. When you watch Washington State, you saw Gardner Minshew last year, slinging the ball, could throw 6-7 touchdowns in a game. I think I don't know. I think it was this year. He threw 9 touchdowns in a game. I'm not positive. You can fact check me that in the comments. But I think it was this year that one game, it went into like triple or quadruple overtime. I mean, it was up in like the 70s, I think. But it was a really impressive game for Washington. And actually, they lost that game too, which is actually surprising the most. He threw like 700 yards, like 9 touchdowns, and you lost. But they're an air raid offense, so that's why his stats is so beefing up. But on a positive side of it, 71.6% was his completion rate. So he connected a lot of his passes. There is definitely talent there. He has a lot of massive highlights. If you guys go look up his name on YouTube and look at highlights, you're going to see highlights after highlights after highlights. Just from this year, because this is the only year he really only played. But what's bad about him? He definitely needs to read defenses. He's really bad at reading defenses. He doesn't know where the safeties or the corners are going. He can't read where the linebackers are going. He doesn't know what play is going to happen. He can't read a blitz a lot. That's going to need a lot of work. And with that type of situation, that's done through coaching, sitting down, learning film, and learning everything you need to know about defenses, how to run, how to read a defense, how to adjust the game, audibles, all that. That's going to be Brian Flores' biggest thing if they go and draft Anthony Gordon. But the biggest red flag on Anthony Gordon is what might be pushing away from Brian Flores, but Brian Flores could take the risk because of the culture that he's in and the type of guy he is. He has a big attitude problem. He gives up, when they're down a lot, he gives up. He didn't really rally the team back whenever they were down a lot. Body language is a thing. And we see it a lot, definitely in college guys. I mean, Johnny Manziel, you see it a lot. Granted, Johnny Manziel was a bust. Baker Mayfield kind of shows it a little bit. But that could be a coachable thing. It's not an easy thing because you're basically fixing this guy's personality. But if you have a great coach who can fix somebody, then take that risk. Someone like Bill Belichick, you're bringing in a risk. Randy Moss, a lot of off-field issues. Bring him in. This is a football team. You're gonna do what you need to do. You're gonna stay out of trouble, and we're gonna win. And that's what happened. Josh Gordon. Josh Gordon didn't have very little problems with the New England Patriots. Belichick put him in check. And the question that goes down to forward for Brian Flores is, can he put people in check? And it's hard to tell because he only had 1 year in. He got rid of a lot of guys. We don't know who's the problematic players we're going to have coming up. I don't know if he has the experience in that. Obviously, he saw Bill Belichick experience that. He was with Bill Belichick for like 14 years through the Patriots organization. So he's seen a lot of guys. He's seen a lot of personalities. So there is a possibility that he can work on it. But that's a big red flag for Anthony Gordon. My opinion, who do I want more? It's a very hard decision between the two guys. I'm kind of more leaning onto Anthony Gordon as a like a 5th round pick if he's available, for the fact that he was in an air raid offense. He was accurate. He can put up numbers. And looking at our wide receiver core, you have Devontae Parker, you have Preston Williams, we still have Alan Hearns. They might be drafting a young guy early this year. Don't know yet. There is potential for this offense to be really nice in the passing game. And to have a gunslinger like Anthony Gordon, that Dolphins offense could take a next level. The only problem is he is he the next quarterback under Mike Leach's offense that just fails in the NFL? Or can he repeat what Gardner Minshew do? Come in, was not even projected to play at all last season. Nick Foles got hurt week 1. He lit it up. In my opinion, he deserved Rookie of the Year, not Kyler Murray. His stats were about identical. I think his might have been a little bit better, but can Anthony Gordon pull off a Gardner Minshew and just make everybody shut up, prove everyone wrong, and say, I am a franchise quarterback. I'm going to prove to you guys what I can do. I'm not no regular QB under Mike Leach's offense that fails. I'm the next big thing. So those are the two hidden gems that I kind of did some research on. Those are guys that are going to be, if they are going to be drafted around the 4th or the 5th round picks. So the day 3 picks. But if I'm the Miami Dolphins, there's 2 ways to go with this. You go 2 quarterbacks. You do get a quarterback in the first round, unless you get Joe Burrow. If you get Joe Burrow, there's no need to get any of these guys, because Joe Burrow is the next big thing. He is the franchise QB wherever he goes, regardless of what happens. That man has a bright future ahead of him. But if you get anybody else, especially Tua, who has a risk of being injured again and possibly never playing ever again, if he does get a significant injury again, you should probably lean on getting one of these 2 guys as a backup just in case. Or you're Brian Flores, you're the Dolphin organizations. Listen, I have 6 picks in the first 3 rounds. That's 6 potential starters we have that can fill holes. 1 in linebacker, 1 at safety, 1 on D-line. Get 1 on offensive line. Might get 2 on offensive line. And maybe get 1 at running back. Maybe, just maybe, a wide receiver in there within those 6 picks between all those guys, and then be like, all right, now it's time to find a QB. We're obviously sticking with Ryan Fitzpatrick this year, regardless what happens, until our quarterback is ready. And the worst comes to worst, you got free agency next year. You could trade for somebody, or you got the draft next year, which also has a couple of guys coming out. But those are the 2 hidden gems. Let me know down below what you guys are thinking or think about these 2 guys. There was a 3rd guy that I was looking into, but I couldn't find a lot of stuff about him, so I wasn't ready to put him in. His name is Nate Stanley from Iowa. He was pretty decent last year, but I don't know if he is going to be drafted. He could come out as an undrafted, or he could be like a 6th or 7th round pick. But between those guys, Bryce Perkins and Anthony Gordon are the guys that I'm kind of more leaning on to. But like I said, let me know down below in the comments below what you guys think about those two guys. And we can hash it out, talk it out, whatever you guys want. Enlighten me. I can enlighten you on anything. But these are the hidden gems in the 2020 draft for quarterback-wise. And I think one of those two guys the Dolphins should get. But thank you guys for supporting me. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to this video so you don't miss any other future videos coming up. I'm going to be doing a lot of videos next couple of weeks about the Dolphins draft. So you guys don't want to miss any of that. But hope you guys have a great weekend, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.